to know that also you can find week 3 on PDF. If you go and look, you'll get a schedule and what we were doing. And also, as a reminder, we were going to try to do some papers. However, the school is closed, so no longer can we get in. So just as a helpful reminder, and do read the different videos, or look at them as well. All right, our our wonderful lessons for today is going to be in the little book workshop, or I call it the workshop book. And what you're going to do is you're going to read a story on page 358 to 365. And it is about a real person. He has passed, but he helped people in farming. And his name is Cesar Chavez. So you're going to read that story, and it is available online. So you don't have to worry about that. And it also can be where you can do it the auto way too, where they'll speak for you. So that's real nice. All right. Besides that, you're going to have your vocabulary words. There it is, the book. I hope you can see it. That's the story that you're going to be doing for today.
Just remember that, so you go to Class Dojo, and then on April 5th, we posted the PDF file for your whole week. You can print these out, and then it tells you that there's a daily Zoom game, and you guys can check these off if you'd like. To get to page essential question and vocabulary, you first need to go to Cesar Chavez, and then once you go to that story, you're gonna press these back buttons. And then these back buttons will take you to Discover Heroes. And then if for some reason, if it's not working, if you're on YouTube, you can pause the video right now and then read these things. But then if you do have them, you can press these audios and it will read the story for you.
Who are your heroes?
Okay. Hopefully that helps. All right, you can continue, Miss Dominguez.
Okay, and then you're going to do the vocabulary and the spelling like you normally would do. And remember, also that will help you when you do the papers, your turn papers. Now, some people may have them where they got them stapled, and if they're not, you know what they are from your turn book. And you're going to be doing pages 221 to 226 today. All right, so that's there to be of help to you. Also, I want to make it understood, and I know you get it, but some of you need to work on your fluency. I would really appreciate if you would do that and get it turned in. And Austin, remember when you said you couldn't find Classroom? And we can now, so I want you to know that somehow there was a glitch, but now it's working. So everyone, be sure you turn in your fluency reading. We're proud of you, how hard you've tried, that's for sure.
So when you guys
go ahead.
It's going to be on page 223 to page 225 this week, okay?
I thought it went because of the odd and even numbers. That's why I said 226.
You are not going to turn in this. Usually here it's going to say turn in. Do not turn it in. Ms. Dominguez and I can still see it if you don't turn it in. So what we want you to do is follow the directions and then write your scores in. So I see that Aria has already done one. Now she needs to do her second one. You're going to read it, have your parents do your fluency tracking. If you're having trouble, you can message your teacher and we will go over how to test your fluency, but all of you guys should know how to do it since we've done it in school. So make sure you're writing it every day and then don't turn it in. We don't want you to turn it in yet. You're not going to turn it in until the last day of school, okay? So hopefully that helps you guys understand that. I think that's it for ELA now.
Okay, and then for math, And I will say I'm again pleased with how well you're doing and looking at the videos and going and for the lessons to be of help to you. And we're going to be on topic 12 still, and we're going to do lesson 6 today. Still doing with geometry, measuring, shapes, that type of thing as well. All right. It is so helpful being that we're in topic 12 and you would go and watch the videos. They're not long. I find them to be very helpful and it gets you started on a good note as well. All right, this one's only 1 minute and 31 seconds. Let's see what we've got. Do I need to start?
How can this rectangle be divided into 3 equal shares? You can draw lines to make 3 columns. You can also draw lines to make 3 rows. Is there any other way this rectangle can be divided into 3 equal shares? You can draw lines to make 3 equal shares with different shapes too. How do you know that these are also 3 equal shares?
So if you guys look at the way that this is cut up, they do have these little boxes inside. So you'll notice, let's say that this is a chocolate bar. Like if you guys have ever eaten like a Hershey's chocolate bar, or like a Kit Kat, it's usually broken up into pieces. So imagine these as like squares of chocolate. So if this was for you, if this was for Miss Dominguez, and this is for Miss Park, then we each get 3 squares of chocolate. Here, same thing. We each get 3 squares of chocolate. Now, let's say you decided to cut it up like this. Now, it doesn't look like it would be the same amount. Some of you might think that like this would be more because it looks like it's a bigger space. But if you count it, 1, 2, 3 for you, 1, 2, 3 pieces for Miss Dominguez, and then 1, 2, 3 for Miss Park. So all of these are 3 equal shares. If you divided this up between anyone in your family, 3 people will get the same amount. And you can see that because of those little lines. It shows you that all of these squares are the same size.
Each share has 3 small rectangles, so they are equal shares. What are some things that are the same about these 3 rectangles? The rectangles are the same size and shape, and each of the 3 rectangles has 3 equal shares. What is the same about all of the shares? What is different? Each share has 3 small rectangles, so they all have the same area, but they have different shapes. Equal shares can be different shapes.
So that's your little video for today. Before you do your lesson, if you would like to go back and see it again, do it. Here are practice items for you. If you feel like you need to do that, there are the enrichment games. I'm very proud that some of you have been trying. No, you can't turn them all in. We know that. But this is for your benefit and to be of helpful. If you're just not sure or you didn't want to ask us right away, please feel free that you can ask questions. That's what we're here for and why we want to show this to you. All right. So with that being said, make sure that you do 12-6. Look in your workbook, your math workbook, and there's 12-6 in there. It's always marked so nicely, and that will be of help to you. All right. And don't forget the digital quick check. Some of you, I know you do the other parts, but this is the big part for us. We need that. So make sure you're doing them, okay?
And I love how for this student, Kira, she has nothing in progress and she has only one thing in not started, which is today's lesson. So that's telling me that she is getting all of her work done. So please make sure you guys have the same exact looking thing where there's only 1 assignment in not started and 0 in progress.
All right. Now, and as we go on to our calendar, and you see that first, please read anything you like. If you have chapter books at home, if you get online and you're reading books, or your mother found or dad found a program for you to look at and read, it's all going to be beneficial to you. So please do it. Our next thing, oh good, is science. And science is not going to give you new lessons. You're going to go to and look at YouTube and the videos, and look at your workbook, because on Wednesday you're going to have a test. And I know you know this, but you do have to practice a little bit. For example, it could be true and false. Maybe you'd have to write a word. Maybe you have to know what the word is. For example, if I said true or false, floods are caused by the snow, I hope you would put false, because we haven't had anything that has to do with snow. So I want you to go back through, and I promise you, if you would go back through your book and look at the vocabulary words that are real helpful to our lessons. Maybe I'll ask you, what is a straw wattle? What were they used for? Were they used to play a game? Were they used as a helpful tool? And how were they used? So in our book, please, or I should say your book, review it, and then today and tomorrow, that's what I would really like you to do before the test on Wednesday. Remember, I beg your pardon, yes, test on Wednesday. All right. Maybe I would ask you, what's a geologist? You better be able to tell me. And what did the geologists do? They study Earth and its materials. There'll be little helpful clues there. However, if you don't practice, that will make it a little harder for you indeed.
So what
All
we're
right.
also going to do is at the end of the lesson today, after Ms. Dominguez goes over writing and technology, you all are going to need your science workbooks, because we're actually going to be circling the areas that you guys need to review today. So we will do that at the end of explaining this, okay? And then that's what we mean by attend Zoom meeting or watch it on YouTube, because you don't need to watch it on YouTube if you guys are following along with us on Zoom right now, okay? That's for the kids who aren't logged in right now. And then we will take attendance at the end of our lesson as well. Okay, let's move on to writing.
Continue with your writing. Maybe you want to write an informative story today after you read Cesar Chavez. Maybe you want to do a narrative. Maybe you want to do an opinion. What do you think of how this man was a hero, and give your 3 ideas. Remember, the paragraphs are only 4 to 6 sentences long. So I know you can do it.
And you
All right, after you have done that, it says go technology. Go ahead.
Oh, some of you guys are saying that, or some of you guys are saying that you don't know where to turn in your writing. You do not need to turn in your writing to us. If you want to, I know some of you guys are really proud. Like I know Ethan and some other students have been writing awesome writings. You guys can turn them in if you want. One idea that a student showed me was one of the students in Ms. Dominguez's class, John, actually,
Yes.
sending his writings to Ms. Dominguez through his portfolios. So he's logging into Class Dojo, and he is writing his paragraphs in Class Dojo. Okay, so that's a great idea that you guys can do if you want to write it into Dojo. Or you can also do it on Google Docs by going to your page, and then you'll see 2 assignments. There's one that's the fluency, and then the other is the selfie writing. You can post it in here, or you can just share it with your teacher in whatever way you want. Now, some of you are still only writing 1 or 2 sentences. You need to be writing a paragraph. Make sure you guys are doing your paragraph writing.
Okay. It's really important, kids, for you to maintain your wonderful writing skills. All right. And here is vocabulary, spelling city, and vocabulary. what is neat is after you practice, go look at some of the games because I think they will help you a great deal. And if you'll notice, they're spelling vocabulary. And please don't put tests. Do not touch the tests. All right. Don't. And then after you practice these, and practice is that key word, go, and I'm sorry, I can't see. Oh, look here. This really impresses me a lot with sentences if you're having trouble. Which word sentences? There's just, look at language arts, look at writing in the blue up there. They have all kinds of things to be of service to you. And I love it. I think this is one thing. Look, letterfall. Look at it. Do we know all of these? Absolutely not. So you take a look, and if you find one that seems to be real helpful to you, tell us. All right? So please keep doing what you're doing because you've done a wonderful job. All right? And then you know where the games are there. There's grammar activities, mechanic. All of that helps you because my children, I know you're not doing DOL now. It's just not possible, and I understand that. All right? So that's your today. And in the rain, since some of you are going to go out, I know you'll get this all completed and do a good job. Be sure you understand. Take a break. We do in the classroom. So don't sit there all that time in one setting and try to do all this. That's too much. So make it enjoyable for you too, as we would do in the classroom, having our breaks. And since you're not going out and playing with the ducks outside or the sharks, I remember maybe you can jump rope over, you have a patio or something so you wouldn't get wet, but try to do some things for yourself. Okay? So how does that go, Miss Park?
Awesome. So now what we are going to do is we need all of you guys to get your Inspire Science workbooks out. It's going to look like this. And then you're going to need a pencil, okay? At this point now, you will need a pencil because I am going to have you guys circle the parts that are going to be on your test, okay? So go ahead and take all of that out. Okay, so the first thing you guys are going to do,
I got it.
first thing you guys are going to be doing is you need to go to that first page, which is going to be
Page 8, 7, 6, 7.
Turn to page 5. And then I know some of you guys had different opinions on which had the best idea, but the person who had the best idea was actually Max, okay? Yeah. So I want you guys to circle with your pencil Max's opinion. Circle Max's opinion because his opinion is correct because that's what we learned by doing our lessons. I think both water and wind can change the shape of land. If you guys remember when we were in school, we did the chalk activity where you guys shook the chalk in a jar. And so like the shaking of the chalk was like the wind, and then we put water in the jar and that was like the water, and it changed how our chalk looked. So go ahead and circle that. Now, if for the sake of just kind of getting you guys off before 10, I am going to run through these a little bit quick. But if you need to pause and stop, then you watch the YouTube video later, okay? Question number 2. What you're going to do is you're going to turn to page 8 and 9. And then this is what we did in class. If you put pieces of chalk in a jar and shake the jar for 2 minutes, what is going to happen to the chalk? It's going to break up into pieces, right? So if for some reason you didn't write this down, then what I want you guys to do is watch it on YouTube, and then write it down then. But if you did write something there because you did it in class, then go ahead and just circle that, okay? For those of you who didn't write it down, you guys can pause it on YouTube and then do it then. But I think most of you guys should have done it since we did it in class. Okay, next one. Number 3, the breaking down of rocks into smaller pieces is called what? You're going to turn to page 12. Everyone turn to page 12. The breaking down of rocks into smaller pieces is called
Well,
weathering. So go ahead and circle that. The reason why you guys are circling these is so that you know that when you're studying it at home, the parts that you're circling are the parts that you guys are going to review and study. These are actual questions from your test. Okay, question number 4. What happens when wind or water carries rocks? What happens when wind or water carries rocks? That's going to actually be on page
18.
18. Turn to page 18. What happens when wind or water carries rocks? Erosion happens when wind or water carries rocks and soil to a new place. Circle that sentence. Erosion happens when wind or water carries rocks to a new place. Okay, next one. A
If
blank.
you go to oh, pardon me. Go ahead.
A blank is someone who studies Earth and I don't know if I can.
It's material.
And its materials. Thank you. That's going to be on page 23.
Good. Good.
A geologist studies Earth and its materials. So go ahead and circle that. A geologist studies Earth and its materials. Now, I know some of you guys are having trouble finding those page numbers, page 23. So if you are having trouble finding these page numbers, don't worry. You can watch this video on YouTube. Hopefully it will load. I know on Thursdays, I think because they're a little bit longer, it takes a longer time to load, but usually I'm able to do it within an hour. Okay, next one. Which sentence about weathering and erosion is true? Now this one is actually from page 27.
Yeah.
So which sentence from weathering and erosion is false? Is false. So erosion can be caused by wind or water. Weathering can be caused by wind or water. Erosion is the breaking down of rocks into smaller pieces. Sometimes erosion can be seen as it happens and sometimes it cannot. Which sentence about weathering and erosion is false? Erosion is breaking down of rocks into smaller pieces. It's erosion.
Yeah. Erosion.
Is the breaking down of rocks into smaller pieces.
See. Yeah.
Okay, true or false? Number 7, weathering is the breaking down of rocks into smaller pieces. Erosion is when bits of, I need to make this, is when, how do I do this?
Okay, say that again.
Is when bits of rocks get carried away. So that is true. And I believe you guys were supposed to have written that here. So I don't have it written down, but that is true. So what I'll do is let me write it really quickly, and then you guys can watch the YouTube video later. So you're gonna write weathering, if you haven't finished this, if you haven't written it down. Weathering is the breaking down of rocks into smaller pieces.
Okay, Miss Park, it's erosion is the breaking down of rocks into smaller pieces.
No, that's it's weathering.
Oh,
And then erosion is when the bits of rocks get carried away.
okay.
Well, let's review it. Let's go back to the page.
No, you know, you read this and you want to get it right and you're looking. I looked at the sentence C, and you remember how it said erosion is the breaking down of rocks into small pieces? That's the false one.
Yeah,
That's,
sentence about weathering and erosion is false.
you're looking at it, weathering.
So it's weathering. Weathering is the breaking down of rocks into smaller pieces, and erosion is when the bits of rocks get carried away.
Got it.
Okay, number 8. So I'm gonna move on, okay? So if you don't have this written down, you need to get it from YouTube. Okay, number 8. Which things can cause very quick changes to Earth's surface? Is it volcanoes, floods, landslides, earthquakes, or all of the above? And that's going to be on page 29. And the answer is all of the above. So I want you guys to circle volcanoes, floods, landslides, and earthquakes. Circle all of those on page 29. Okay, next one. How long do most earthquakes last? I believe that's on page
36.
How long do most earthquakes last? They last only 10 to 30 seconds. And remember seconds, because on your test, it's actually going to say 10 to 30 seconds or 10 to 30 minutes. So you need to remember seconds. Seconds is a smaller unit of time, okay? And blink is a shake in Earth's crust or outer layer. Okay, which natural disaster is that? That is going to be an earthquake. That's on page 36. Everyone go to page 36, and I want you to highlight that. An earthquake is a shake in Earth's crust or outer layer. And then number 11 is a blink is a sudden movement of soil or rock from higher or lower ground. And that is going to be a landslide, which is on the next page. A landslide is a sudden movement of soil or rock from higher to lower ground. Now, tomorrow, what you guys are going to be doing is we're going to be playing a review game with you guys. So you will need your workbooks again. And then we'll just be reviewing for the test. So today we're circling it in your books. Tomorrow we're reviewing it.
Please.
And then Wednesday's your test. Okay, number 12, a blink can happen when a lot of rain falls quickly. It's going to be on page 38, and the answer is a flood. A flood can happen when a lot of rain falls quickly. And then number 13, a blink can happen. Oh, I have 2 of the same questions. I'm gonna have to change that later. So let's just keep going on. Number 14, a blink is an opening in Earth's surface when melt. Okay, actually, maybe we should circle. Let's say floods make it hard for plants and animals to live. Why don't we circle that too? I'm gonna make that a true or false question. Floods make it hard for plants and animals to live. Floods make it hard for plants and animals to live. And then number 14, a blink is an opening in Earth's surface when melted rock or gases are forced out. That's going to be a volcano. And then you're also going to need to know that next one. So go ahead and circle that whole paragraph. Because the next question is, when a volcano blinks or blows up, lava flows onto parts of Earth's landscape. That's going to be erupts. So you're going to need to know both of those. A volcano is an opening in Earth's surface when melted rock or gases are forced out. When a volcano erupts or blows up, lava flows onto parts of Earth's landscapes. Okay, question number 16. I think there's 9 more questions. Which of these natural disasters mostly caused a crack like that? And actually, that is going to be at the beginning of our story, which is actually, so you guys might want to go back to page, I think it's the very, very beginning. You're going to want to go back to page 30. Go to page 30. Now, what would have caused this? So I want you to circle that picture And then I want you to check out, and then circle that. You're gonna check out the earthquake simulation. So go all the way back to page 30. You're gonna circle that because that's gonna be question number 16. So what natural disaster caused this? And you're gonna say it was an earthquake. And then now we have to go back to where we were. I know I'm moving back and forth. I will put this on YouTube, so if you're lost, you will have it. Page 46. What is a geophysicist? A geophysicist is a person who studies changes to Earth's surface. So circle that sentence. A geophysicist studies changes to Earth's surface. Number 18. Which item below describes a quick change to Earth's surface? And I think that's going to be on page 49. Yep. Page 49. Which item below describes a quick change to Earth's surface? A quick change, and that's going to be B. Dirt moving down a steep hill. B. Number 19. People can blank or help stop erosion. So what you're going to do is you're going to turn to page 56. 56, turn to page 56. People can prevent, and then you know what, circle out a whole paragraph because that's going to be the next question too.
Yeah.
People can prevent or help stop erosion. And then question number 20 is natural resources are things that come from Earth. For example, like plants and rocks are natural resources. So natural resources are things that come from the Earth, like plants, rocks, water. Those are all natural resources. Okay. Number 21. A civil engineer manages construction projects, and that is true, and that's going to be on page 62. Okay, a day in the life of a civil engineer. A civil engineer manages construction projects. Circle that on page 62. We have 3 more questions. Why do people put straw wattles on a hill? I want you guys to turn to page 64. And then you guys all should have actually written this because you wrote it with Ms. Dominguez. They are on the hill to prevent erosion. Why do people put straw wattles on a hill? To prevent erosion. Number 23, a farmer is planning a windbreak to protect her crops. Which of the following should she think about when she makes a model? And then we did this one again with Ms. Dominguez, and the answer was all of the above. So circle all of the above. And then number 24 and number 25 are the last 2 questions, and they have to do with this question right here. Label the photo and choose the method used to prevent erosion. So what is this? This is a windbreak, so circle that whole thing. And then the last one is what is the other next one, and those are called straw wattles. And then you're done.
Hooray.
Awesome job, guys. So that was everything. So you guys can watch that on YouTube later if you weren't able to finish. But that is going to be your science review for your test. It's going to be 25 questions on Google Classroom. And we will review again tomorrow, hopefully trying to play a little game with you guys. And I think that's it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take attendance. And remember, if you for some reason can't join and your parents have explained why, no worries. And we're also going to be voting for tomorrow's game.